Have you ever just stared at a map and thought about all the stories that are hidden in plain sight? Well, today, we're going to talk about spatial data. That's really just a fancy way of saying information that's tied to a specific place on Earth. Because, as you're about to see, knowing where something happens can change everything. It can unlock incredible insights and even solve life or death mysteries.
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a detective novel, right? But what if I told you that one of the biggest breakthroughs in the history of public health started with just a simple map, a very determined doctor, and a terrifying disease that was killing people by the hundreds? So, to really understand how powerful this idea is, we have to jump in a time machine. We're going to start with a classic story where mapping data wasn't just about finding a cool pattern, it literally saved lives.
Okay, so picture this. It's the middle of the 19th century in London. There is panic everywhere. People are getting sick and dying, and nobody has a clue why. The prevailing theory, the one everyone believed, was that cholera was spreading through bad air, this stuff they called miasma.
But see, there was this one physician, a guy named John Snow, and he just wasn't buying it. He had this wild, almost heretical idea for the time. He thought the killer wasn't in the air people were breathing, but in the water they were drinking. The big problem, of course, was how on earth do you prove that? And this is where things get truly revolutionary. Snow didn't just sit in his office looking at charts. No, he hit the streets. He went door to door, talking to people, and creating a totally new set of data. And then he did something brilliant. He put every single death on a map. Each little dot represented a person who had died from cholera. And when he stepped back and looked at it, wow, the visual was just undeniable. All that chaos suddenly had a clear pattern. The deaths weren't random at all. They formed this terrifying cluster, and right at the center of it all was the water pump on Broad Street. Snow took his map to the city officials, who were, pretty skeptical, but they finally agreed to take the handle off the pump. And almost overnight, the outbreak in that neighborhood just stopped. Now, Snow's map was a huge moment for sure, but it was also part of a bigger story. You see, even before him, back in 1832, a cartographer named Charles Picquet was mapping cholera in Paris. Snow perfected that technique in '54, and that idea just kept evolving, all the way up to 1963, when Roger Tomlinson, who we now call the father of GIS, built the very first real geographic information system up in Canada. So that historical breakthrough really laid all the groundwork for the incredible tools we have today. You can think of Dr. Snow's hand-drawn map as the prototype. So now, let's meet its super powerful digital descendant, GIS. So what in the world is a GIS? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a smart map on steroids. It's a computer system that doesn't just show you where things are, it helps you understand why they're there by connecting all sorts of different data to one specific location. And here is the secret sauce. Location becomes the common thread that ties everything together. A GIS can take totally separate things, like a spreadsheet with soil quality, a report on crop yields, and weather data, and it can weave them all together on a single map. It starts to show you relationships you never would have seen before, all because it answers the one question all that data shares: where? Now, to make all these connections, a GIS needs clues, digital clues. It basically sees the world through data, and that data usually comes in two main flavors that work together to paint a complete picture. Okay, so on one side we have what's called vector data. This is perfect for stuff that has clear, defined edges. A single point could be a fire hydrant. A line could be a road. A polygon or a shape could be the boundary of a park. Then, on the other side, we have raster data. This is more like a photograph. It's a grid of pixels, and every single pixel has a value. It's great for showing things that are continuous and don't really have hard edges, like temperature, elevation, or a satellite image. Let's make this a little more real. In farming, for instance, your vector data would be the sharp, precise boundaries of your fields. Those are polygons. But the raster data, that'd be the satellite image layered over it, showing you exactly which parts of that field are healthy and green and which parts are struggling, with every pixel telling a tiny part of that story. And that brings us to one of the most incredible modern uses for GIS: precision agriculture. This is literally about farming from the sky, using all this spatial data to manage crops with a level of detail that's just, well, it's mind-blowing. So instead of treating a huge, 100-acre field as just one big uniform piece of land, farmers can now manage it with incredible precision. A GIS lets them see all the little variations within that one field, so they can apply resources like water or fertilizer exactly where they're needed, and only where they're needed.
Okay, this is where the real magic happens. So, a farmer starts with a base map of their field boundaries. That's the vector data. Then, they layer on top of that a raster map showing soil nutrient levels. Then on top of that, they add another layer, maybe from a drone, showing crop health. The GIS combines all these layers and spits out a final prescription map. This map then tells a smart tractor exactly how much fertilizer to apply, foot by foot, across the entire field. It's amazing.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. We've shifted. Data isn't just a bunch of numbers anymore, it's a critical asset. For a modern farmer, a good satellite image can be just as valuable as a tractor, because it lets them move away from guesswork and into making strategic, data-driven decisions.
So what's the payoff here? Well, it's huge. Farmers can seriously improve efficiency because they're not wasting water or fertilizer. They can boost their productivity and get bigger yields. And, maybe most importantly, they can improve sustainability by reducing waste and their environmental footprint. It is a win-win-win.
So, as we've seen, from saving Londoners from a deadly disease to completely changing how we grow our food, the power of location, it's just immense. And this whole idea goes way beyond the farm. GIS is absolutely critical in so many different fields. It's used in public health to track disease outbreaks, just like Jon Snow did. It's used in disaster response to get help to the people who need it most. It's used in urban planning to build better cities, and in environmental management to protect our planet. The list just goes on and on. The tools have changed like you wouldn't believe. We've gone from pen and paper to satellites and powerful sensors. But the core idea, it's exactly the same as it was for Jon Snow back in 1854. When we understand the where, we get this incredible power to finally understand the why. Think about it. We are collecting more data about our world every single second of every day. So the real question for our future isn't just about what we know, but where we know it. What other amazing patterns and powerful solutions are just sitting there, waiting to be discovered, if only we take the time to put them on a map?